Our psalm for tonight is Psalm 4. And in this psalm, you will hear about going to bed. And that is the time we are at, our bedtime reflection of this psalm. Now, the psalm puts us in an interesting place because it speaks to examining our day. So before we listen to the psalm, I want you to think about whatever emotions you bring to this moment, whatever happened during the day, all that stuff you're carrying with you. I want you to enter into the psalm just as you are and listen for the words of the psalm and what they say about how we should approach this time of pivoting into rest and preparing to rest in the presence of God.
Psalm 4, read from the NIV. Answer me when I call to you, O my righteous God. Give me relief from my distress. Be merciful to me and hear my prayer. How long, O men, will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love delusions and seek false gods? Know that the Lord has set apart the godly for himself. The Lord will hear when I call to him. In your anger, do not turn to sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. Offer the right sacrifices and trust in the Lord. Many are asking, who can show us any good? Let the light of your face shine upon us, O Lord. For you have filled my heart with greater joy than when their grain and new wine abound. I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety.
In the NIV version, we have this verse in the middle of the psalm, and it says, in your anger, do not sin. When you are on your beds, search your hearts and be silent. You see, so many times our days are filled with these moments where we might get angry. And the psalm reminds us that in that anger, we shouldn't be lashing out at others. We shouldn't do things that we'll regret later. Instead, it says, take all of that stuff and we're going to give it to God. But enter into a time of reflection together. That we search our hearts and we let God search our hearts. You see, in one of the next verses, it talks about this giving a right sacrifice. And in the voice, it talks about giving a right sacrifice that comes from a heart that is made right by God. How are you feeling in your heart tonight? Does your heart need to be made right by God? When we do this, when we allow God to address things like our anger, our frustrations, our disappointments, then God can make our hearts right. And then we're told that God fills our hearts with greater joy, and that when we lie down to sleep, we lie down in peace. Do you feel like you're laying down in peace tonight? If not, take some time in self-reflection and welcoming God into that time of challenging and changing your heart tonight. Know that you can rest in safety because you rest with God surrounding you. There's this other verse that talks about how do we know what's good? How can we get to that place? And it says in there, let the light of your face shine upon us, O Lord, because God's face shows us what is right and what is true. And it reminds me of a blessing that happens in the book of Numbers, which is toward the beginning of the Bible. It's the priestly blessing, and you may have heard it before. In the NIV, it reads like this. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you, or in the NIV reading, lifts his face up toward you, and may he give you peace. May God's light shine upon you in this time of stillness as you get ready to rest. May the Lord bring you peace this night.